Okay, so for the first card, this is Leo Sun, Leo Moon, Leo Risings. So we have the Five of Coins. This is definitely not the best way to start, but it is what it is. So the Five of Coins. This definitely indicates some trying times. So you're definitely going through some pretty tough situation in some aspect of your life. For some of you, this could be financial. For some of you, this could be spiritual. For some of you, this could even be in a, romantic relationship. And for some of you, it could even be within a business partnership or even friendships. So this card can indicate bankruptcy, financial or spiritual. This card can also indicate feeling like you're put out in the cold. You see this woman, she's just sitting on this snow-covered step. The door is open to this house where there's a roaring fire in the fireplace, and yet she's sitting on the stair. Well, this can be pretty representative of how you might be feeling. For some of you, maybe you feel like you were put out into the cold in a certain situation in your life. For some of you, this could be, about a financial project, a business project. For some of you, this could be, having major disagreements with someone you love, whether it's a romantic partner, a spouse, your mother, your father, family members, friends, whatever it may be, there is a feeling like you were put out in the cold. Sometimes this can feel like we might be pushed out of someone's feelings, like we might be iced out. And sometimes this can literally indicate being put out of the house, being kicked out. So, roommates is what I'm hearing from spirit, so some of you, this could be like a roommate situation as well, where things are just not working out. And, leads to you being put out. Not necessarily in the cold, but, it's it's a bit of a metaphor, but you feel like you're put out. And some of you literally, physically are put out of a home. For some of you, this can definitely indicate having financial troubles in regards to maintaining, being able to pay for your home or your rent. So there's many different things that this covers, but I gotta kind of throw that out there because every Leo is different. Every Leo sun, moon, and rising is different. Everybody's situation's a little different. Okay, so it is clarified by the Strength card, the Leo card. So it's in the upright position. So this is a good thing, very good thing. So basically the Strength card is coming in to say you need to rely on your inner strength because you can make it through any situation you come up against. You have great inner strength and stamina. This too shall pass. And for some of you, you might feel like you're being tested, and well, you very well might be. How strong are you? Then again, we're all being tested, so it is what it is. We're all being tested, we're all learning. No one's perfect. you know, because if you were perfect, well, you wouldn't be here on earth. So, we all have our issues. But ultimately, this is about definitely having control, especially over the fear. Because the tiger is representing fear. So that's why I'm happy that this is in the upright position, because the woman is at the top of the card. So she's very much in control. And so are you. So you have this great strength, and you can handle whatever life throws at you. You are strong enough to rise above this and to overcome it, okay? This too shall pass. It will. But I'm just getting the feeling that a lot of you guys are giving in to pessimism, you know, just, I know that, you know, not every Leo, sun, moon, and rising is going through it like this. But then there's a good portion of you that are. And so the ones who are really going through some very trying times, you know, that's who this reading is for most specifically. So just want to throw that out there real quick. Okay, so this would be your circumstances, and this is why I say you guys are definitely still somewhat on track from last month, because I'm pretty sure it was you guys that had this as the final outcome. Yeah, because I said Lady Luck is on your side, because she most definitely is. And I think that a lot of you feel like luck is not on your side right now, but it is. It really is. Now, you know, the 5 of coins, that can indicate bad luck. But, you know, sometimes we can create our own luck, you know. But I'm telling you, it's there. The planetary forces are in your favor right now. So just have faith, okay? I mean, this is very, very important. You guys need to have faith, and you need to believe in yourself. More than anything, you need to believe in yourself, and you need to believe that everything is going to turn out for the best, because it's going to. So, you know, the Wheel of Fortune, you know, Lady Luck is on your side. You know, this is where things can come together a bit easier for you. Even though you may not be feeling that way, but you're really being blessed. Whether you can acknowledge it and receive it or not. But, you know, I'm just saying it how it is. But I do understand that a lot of you feel like, you know, if it wasn't for bad luck, I wouldn't have any at all. But, you know, that's really not the truth of it. That might be how you feel, but that's not necessarily the truth about it, okay? And trust me, everything that you guys are going through, it's leading to something much bigger, much grander, much better. I'm telling you, they're going to get better. But you got to believe, and you got to know, and you got to be ready. So, looky here. It's now clarified by the 5 of coins in reverse. So, this is basically saying you're no longer having bad luck. You're having good luck. Luck is actually in your favor. I mean, this is like 2 cards of luck is in your favor. The 5 of coins in reverse can definitely indicate that if you have perhaps been jobless, or maybe you've been stuck in an unsatisfactory work type of position, this card could be indicating that there perhaps is a job opportunity coming your way. But no matter what, luck is turned in your favor, so things will get better, okay? Now, there are certain situations in which you might be in that may need to be let go of. If you've tried making something work for years, decades, and it's not working, then, this just might be something that you need to set aside and start over with a fresh, clean slate. That'll resonate with just a few of you, but I'm telling you, luck is actually on your side, guys. I know that some of you are feeling like that's just not the case, but it is. It absolutely is, okay? Okay, so this will be the focus. So we have the Knight of Cups. So, first and foremost, yes, that's my fur baby, my dog. But she's my fur baby, if you caught that glance of her. She just broke into my room like, hey, what's up? Oh, thank you. Okay, she's laying down. All right. Now, I always associate the Knight of Cups as a Pisces, which, let's temporarily pause momentarily here, because when I think of Pisces, I'm automatically thinking about Neptune. Okay, so we've had a lot of planets in retrograde. Now there are 6 planets retrograde, because now Neptune, which rules Pisces, has gone retrograde as well. Now, if you have a lot of retrogrades in your natal chart, then this probably isn't affecting you much. Now, if you don't have a bunch of retrogrades in your natal chart, then some of you may be feeling pretty strange, maybe a bit out of character. Maybe you cannot pinpoint what it is, but something just feels off. Well, it's happening within the planets. So if you don't know your planetary positions, you can go to astro.com, astro.com, and you can get a chart done from there for free. It will just basically give you your natal chart, your birth chart. So it definitely helps if you actually have a actual time of birth, but if you don't have your time of birth and you just want to scroll down till you see unknown and just click on that. But either way, it'll let you know at least where all your planets are and if they were retrograde when you were born. So, okay, back to Neptune. So, with Neptune being retrograde, and I feel that it's definitely affecting all of us. All of these retrogrades are affecting us, but this one specifically, and I have pretty much talked about it in every reading I have done up to this point. And Neptune is literally snatching the veil that's been over our eyes. Okay? Illusions are being shattered. So, for some of us, we've been in certain situations, certain relationships, even partnerships where maybe we thought that, it was a great thing, and suddenly the veil is snatched from our eyes and we are able to see things, these people, and these situations for exactly what they are. So the illusions are being shattered, so to speak, which can be a bit, of a painful process for some of us, especially for some of us that have been in situations for very long times. And, then suddenly things are revealed, and it's like, wow, I can't believe I wasted my time. I mean, this is a very common theme that people are going through, and if it hasn't happened to you yet, it will. So, yeah. I mean, this is where we're going to find out what's really real and what's not real, and who's being real and who's not being real. So, in a sense, it's definitely going to help us so that we can see which people in which situations we do not need in our life anymore, because they're just sucking our energy dry, and we don't need that. So again, this can be kind of painful in the beginning, but just know that those illusions that get shattered, this is happening for a very good reason. We don't want fake situations or fake people in our life that are just taking from us. And, we deserve better. And so I would much rather see the truth wholeheartedly for exactly what it is. So I actually enjoy this energy, but, I only have one retrograde planet, and it happens to be Neptune. So, and that's kind of a theme that I go through, is I definitely expose people and situations to other people. Anyhow. But it's a good energy, but at the same time, it is kind of like a hardcore reality check, it'll wake you up real quick. So I didn't mean to go on forever and forever. I just want you guys to know this, plus we have Mars retrograde. And so this is where we definitely need to be careful. We need to try to think before we speak or react, because otherwise we can definitely get ourselves into some more drama that we don't necessarily want to be in. I mean, I know as Leo, you guys like some drama, but, not all of you enjoy drama like that. So, so definitely take heed of that warning. Try to think before you speak or react, because we don't need any more problems, But it's going to get better. It will. And, there is a purpose for all of this. So, and one more thing astrologically. So, we have 2 eclipses that are occurring this month. The first one will be July 12th. This is going to be a solar eclipse at 21 degrees of Cancer. So if you guys have anything between 18 and 24 degrees of Cancer or Capricorn, then consider that planet getting an eclipse, or that luminary getting an eclipse. Or for some of you who do have your accurate birth time, and perhaps maybe your angles might match within those degrees, then you want to consider that. That would be the one of the angular houses getting eclipsed. So the second eclipse will be, I believe, on the 27th of July. And it will be like 4 or 5 degrees of Aquarius. And now Aquarius is the opposite of Leo. Okay? So if your Leo sun, moon, or rising sign happens to be within 3 degrees before or after the eclipse degree, then the eclipse will affect you as well. Here, let me look. Yes, July 27th, 5 degrees of Aquarius. So if your sun, moon, or rising sign is 2 degrees, from 2 degrees of Leo, or from 2 degrees to 8 degrees, then you will most definitely be affected by the lunar eclipse on the 27th. Now, the first one on the 12th will be a solar eclipse. The one on the 27th will be a lunar eclipse. It's much better to be under the solar eclipse, but, you know, for those of you who are affected by the lunar eclipse, you know, certain things are going to come to an end. Certain situations will come to an end. They will culminate. And this is going to happen for a very good reason, because they needed to culminate. They needed to be done. They needed to be removed from your life. So it just kind of helps set us on the right path, so to speak. And, you know, some people don't think that eclipses really affect us that much, but they do. Especially if you do have your accurate birth time and you already have your chart, then, you know, you can automatically look to see in which house these eclipses are taking place. And so that'll give you a very good indication of what area of your life that will be affected. Okay, moving on. Sorry, I know this was right at the beginning of the reading here and a bit long and drawn out, but, you know, I had to say it all, so, you know, just that way you guys are in the know, so to speak. Okay, back to the cards. And again, okay, so I always associate the Knight of Cups as Pisces, but most of all, the Knight of Cups is always bringing us messages, okay? So, with the Knight of Cups, this knight can be a male or female. Let's clarify that immediately, okay? Typically, it's someone that is of a very genuine character, okay? And typically, they could be offering you an invitation of sorts, a proposal of some sorts. For some of you, this could be a new relationship, perhaps the start of a new relationship. Now, not every Leo, Sun, Moon, and Rising sign wants to be in a relationship, so let's be clear about that. So, for those of you who don't want to be in a relationship, you know, perhaps maybe this invitation or this proposal could be potentially business related. It could be many different things. Perhaps maybe it could be an invitation to, say, a music concert or to, you know, an art gallery, you know, because the Knight of Cups is very artistic. So anything that has to do with art, you know, all forms of art, music, you know, poetry, creative writing, you know, things of that nature. And even acting, yeah. So, For some of you, this will be a relationship. For those of you who are actually open and wanting that, this could be indicating that. For those who are already in a relationship or perhaps a marriage and not looking for anything like that, then this is definitely hinting more towards a proposal or an invitation of sorts. Okay. But another aspect to this card here is do you see the cup? It's even got this circle around it. This cup right here. Think of it as divine relief, okay? This is like a liquid that is not only hydrating, but enlightening. It's like a cup of the divine, like a cup of truth, you know. It's very, very positive. Very positive. But, like I said, you know, think of it as a cup of divine relief, you know. This is kind of like, you know, all your pleading, it's been heard, okay? And things are going to work out. Your pleas have been heard by God, by the universe, however you want to look at it. And, you know, things are going to work out in the long term. Okay? They will. They absolutely will. You know, and, you know, for some of you, this could even be someone coming in from, say, maybe your past. Maybe you guys had a potential, you know, blowout. And, you know, for some of you, this could be indicating someone coming back that perhaps maybe wants to apologize to you. Maybe someone owes you an apology. Okay, so it is clarified by the Two of Coins, which is definitely a financial card. This is a card where we are juggling. We're like doing a juggling act, you know. So for some of us, this is like we're juggling our resources, you know. Sometimes we're juggling multiple jobs. Sometimes we're juggling, you know, a home life that might be difficult right now, plus a work life that could be difficult, you know. But ultimately, you're able to handle this, okay? So you are juggling these things like a pro. Now just know that if some disappointing news happens to come, do not allow it to cause you to lose balance. Just keep juggling, okay? Just keep juggling. Do not let it throw you off balance, so to speak, okay? Just maintain that balance that you really need in order to do juggling, okay? Things are going to work out. It's just, it's still a little rough. But like I said, I'm definitely feeling a lot of pessimism, and I feel like even some of you are losing hope, but we can't lose hope because it's going to get better. And you need to know that it's going to get better. You need to believe it's going to get better. Don't just believe it, know it. Feel it, okay? It's going to get better. Okay, so this will be your recent past. So we have the Two of Swords, so it definitely would indicate that there was a point in the past where you were in a bit of a pickle, so to speak, where you were experiencing indecision. There was like a stalemate, okay? And then, you know, we have indecision. We're trying to figure out which should I choose, what should I do, which direction should I go in, you know. And see, she literally blindfolds herself on purpose because she wants to see with her third eye, with her mind, to find the right answers. But she also takes her time in making up her mind because she wants to weigh the pros and the cons. She wants to make the right choice, the right decision. And if we see the water here in the background, the water is representing our emotions. So it is decisions that can make us a bit emotional. There's a bit of an emotional nature to the decisions. Oh, okay, so it's clarified by the Tower. So, yeah. Looks like you had a decision to make in regards to learning something, perhaps, maybe that was very unexpected, very shocking. Maybe something that came up literally out of the blue, could have blindsided you. The Tower comes in and, like, literally knocks down existing structures, you know. So for some of you, this could be about, you know, the loss of a job, or learning that, you know, maybe the company you worked for is not doing as great as everyone thought, you know. So time to start looking for, you know, these are things where we are shocked. We don't see them coming. And so we're left with the decision of, what do I do? I don't know what to do. You know, should I do this? Should I do that? Should I try to, you know, continue and work this out? Or should I go in a new direction? You know, so yeah, a little bit of confusion in regards to this shocking situation. But the upside to the Tower is sometimes if we're stuck in a certain situation, the Tower situation comes in and it helps us to remove ourselves out of a difficult situation that we were stuck in, or we felt like we were stuck in. Yeah. The Tower is a bit like a rude awakening as well, so. Okay, so this would be the present, the here, and the now energy. We have 7 of coins. So I absolutely love this card. This is a card where we are definitely waiting for that harvest to come in, because we've put a lot of our time, our energy, our work into a particular investment or a project or whatever it may be. It could even be a relationship for some of you. Typically, this is a card of, you know, finances, but again, every Leo, Sun, Moon, and Rising, you know, your situations are different. Not all Leos work or are, you know, financially driven. So, you know, it is what it is. So, but this is definitely a card of us putting our time and our energy into something, and even our work, you know, because we're trying to make it happen. And this is a card of also getting a good harvest. So this is money coming in. So this would definitely tell me that a lot of you are focused on, you know, when is the money coming in, because I've put so much of my time, my energy, my work, everything. I've put my heart, blood, tears, soul into this. You know, when am I going to see some payoff, you know? Yeah, so this is like the energy that I'm getting here. And it's clarified by the Ace of Swords. So the Ace of Swords is definitely a new beginning, but it's also about a beginning where we have risen out of a much more difficult situation. The Ace of Swords, I actually love this card because this sword is like the sword of truth. So it's about getting to the truth of the matter. This is a double-edged sword, so the sword can cut both ways. Sometimes when we get this card, we need to be careful that we are not being too forceful. You know, we want to apply the right amount of gentle force. You know, we want to gently push as opposed to just trying to literally push and like barrel over certain people or situations. So we really got to be careful, because if we try to just steamroll over everybody, you know, the sword can cut you rather than cutting somebody else. But this definitely seems positive. But to me, it also definitely could be pointing towards some of you could be starting a new investment of some sorts. And I'm going to strongly caution that we be careful about investing money right now, just the way things are, which probably doesn't even need to be said, but you know, I'm just saying it for those that need to hear it. But this is definitely about getting to the truth of the matter. And we don't want to apply too much pressure in regards to whatever this investment is, whatever it is that you've worked very hard for and you're waiting to see the return. We don't want to push too forcefully. And we need to be careful not to speak too forcefully or even impulsively, okay? It's where we need to kind of be a little careful, because this is a very strong energy, so to speak. And forceful is a very good word to use, but like I said, the sword is double-edged, so it can cut for good or for ill. It can cut you or it could cut another person. We got to be careful. Okay, so here we are. This would be the near future. So we have the Eight of Cups in the reversed position. So typically I would interpret this card in a different fashion, but because of this Justice card in reverse, this is going to change things up a bit for me and how I interpret this. I don't even want to go into how I would normally interpret this card when I see the Justice card in reverse. Now, to me, I'm getting the feeling here that, you know, maybe some of you have been done wrong in a certain aspect, in a certain situation in your life. And, you know, are you refusing to leave a certain situation? Are you still hanging on to it, just hoping and waiting to see if it's going to work out, if things are going to turn in your favor? Because if that's resonating with you, let me tell you now, do yourself a favor and don't do that. It's time to move forward. Because when I see Justice in reverse, this can indicate that perhaps we're making unwise decisions. We're not thinking things through clearly. You know, maybe even some impulsive type of decisions. Maybe we're being self-deceptive. Maybe there's deception within the situation itself. And why hang on to a situation or refuse to leave a situation where there's deception. But like I said, Neptune's going to snatch that veil off our eyes, and we're going to be forced to look at it at some point. It's coming. If it hasn't already happened, it will. You know, you've pretty much taken all you can from this situation. You've learned all that you can from this situation. Why hang on? Now, for some of you, maybe you're contemplating going back to a situation. And this situation could have been an unfair situation. There could have been dishonesty, deception, corruption, bias, favoritism, discrimination, racism, the negative things. Ugh. But there is an unfairness when I see the justice in reverse. So are some of you contemplating going back to a situation like that? That's not a choice I would make, but to each his own. Now, typically the Eight of Cups in reverse is about us returning to the physical world, the physical, the material side of life. We are ready to enjoy some material and financial success, which, that part definitely does resonate for me with you guys. But the question really here is that, are you in a situation where you're being lied to? Now, granted, this is the near future position. Now, some of you could already be going through this. Some of you are getting ready to go through this. And so, for those of you who are getting ready to go through this, then, yeah, when this happens, you definitely need to think things through thoroughly. Don't deceive yourself. Don't try to talk yourself into thinking, okay, maybe this person or this situation's gotten better. Yeah. I mean, we really need to think things through before we act here. These are some pretty heavy energies when they are combined. I mean, typically the Eight of Cups in reverse is a great card, but to have Justice in reverse to clarify, yeah, this really just made it super, super heavy. Sometimes this can be indicating that perhaps maybe we get involved in certain situations, and then when it's time to truly commit or things start getting heavy, whether it's a relationship or, a job or a project, just as things are starting to get really, intense and heavy, are you running away from it? That's only going to resonate with a very few of you, but it had to be said, so my apologies. You need to really trust that inner voice, your own gut feeling, your intuition. You really got to listen to it right now, and you got to trust it, because you don't want to be stuck in situations like this. I mean, I realize that some of you have a very urgent need for money. And if your way of making money is returning to, say, a pre-existing work condition or situation, that is unfair, not right. Yeah, see, I get the need and the urgency for money, but, is it really worth it? Instead of wasting that time, you might just want to go apply all that energy into something better, something new. I mean, to each his own. You got to do what you know is best for you in the here and the now, and only you know what that is. So just don't allow yourself to be lied to, and don't lie to yourself. Okay? Be very honest with yourself in regards to the situation. Okay? Sometimes this is where we can see denial. Sometimes this can even be like infidelity, like emotional recklessness. Yeah. This is just a really, really tough energy. I mean, man. For some of you, this situation this injustice, this unfairness, this deception has happened to you. You're the victim. And then I think there's a few of you that are perpetuating it. You'll know where you fit in. The ones that are perpetuating it are going to thoroughly hate me after this. And that's okay. I love you too. And I legitimately mean that. I love you. You can hate me all you want, but I love you. It'll get better. So, just don't allow yourself to be fooled, to be lied to. I just don't want anybody else taking advantage of you, and I don't want you guys to allow someone else to continue to take advantage of you. And another note here is sometimes this can be about a new love interest coming in, which, is very, very possible. But a lot of times this can be about going back to someone, or someone from your past that you were with trying to come back. And especially if that situation was one that was unfair or had an infidelity involved, deception, dishonesty, just in general completely unfair. Do you really want to go back to that? Do you really want to allow that energy back into your life? But most of all, we don't want to hang on to situations that are not serving us in the long run. And ultimately, you've already learned your lesson. We don't need to keep hanging on to it. I mean, some of you are really, really stubborn and may need to hang on a little bit more. But I highly suggest, to walk away from that. Like I said, typically I would interpret the Eight of Cups in reverse a lot different and a lot more positive. Because I know that there is a great need for money, and, this is about us getting our passion back and, ready to jump out there in the physical world and get things moving. But I just don't want you guys trying to hang on to situations that are not serving you and that are unfair. And also with the Justice card in reverse, here's one. Are you not taking accountability for your responsibilities and for the things that were not working out that were your fault? Because when we see justice in reverse, this can be saying, hey, you need to take accountability for your portion of things. So that'll resonate with a few of you as well. Sometimes we just need to take accountability for our own life and for where we are right now. Okay? I know, I'm sorry. It's some really tough energy, and I can already tell you that this reading is going to go over an hour. Like every single reading I have done this month up to this point, they have all been over an hour. No matter how hard I try to get them done quickly, nope, it's not happening. And it's just because a lot of people are being affected by everything that's going on in the planets and all these eclipses and yeah. Alright. So, this is the attitude. Here we have the King of Coins in reverse. Can we say pessimistic? Unfortunately. Now, this could be a bit of a warning for some people here, because this can definitely indicate things that are not ethical, ways of making money that are not ethical, not legal. So, black market, we do need to be careful. For some people, maybe money's getting tight. Maybe you're considering other alternatives, but you do need to be careful. For some of you, this may not even be your intention. But, sometimes, a situation could be presented to us, and it can sound like a great thing, but this is where we really need to do some research, because it could potentially end up being unethical, illegal, and we really want to be careful here. But, for most of you, I'm interpreting this as being very pessimistic in regards to financial matters. Because this is definitely a king of finances, wealth, prosperity, all of that. So when he's in the reverse, it's like he still desires all of that, but sometimes he doesn't want to actually put the work in to actually get it, to actually earn it. Yeah. It's kind of like wanting all those good, wonderful material items, and not working for it, potentially manipulating others to get it. This can also indicate that maybe you could be very vulnerable to be coerced or bribed out of something right now. That'll resonate with a few of you. But like I said, overall, I'm definitely interpreting this more as being pessimistic in regards to financial matters, and when it comes to making your own financial wealth and prosperity. But there is also a need to be very, very careful of your spending habits. It's nice to have things that we want, but there's a huge difference between having things we want and having things that we absolutely need. And at this point in time, it's kind of like we need to just stick with the things that we absolutely need and save those things we want for later. when the conditions are more favorable, which we're going to get there. I know it doesn't seem like it, but we will. It can't last forever, you know. Sure, some of you may feel like you're at the bottom, but at some point you got to go up, you know. Kind of like what goes up must come down. Well, whatever's down must come up eventually. So it's just like the natural order of things. And this card can also indicate deception in regards to money or finances. Yeah. So perhaps maybe some of you could be lying to other people about the true state of your financial affairs. Maybe you're making it seem like it's not that bad, but really it is. Or there could just actually be a deception. I'm not saying that's going to be all of you. Like I said, for most of you, I feel this is just simply being pessimistic in regards to, finances and building your own wealth. But we can't stay pessimistic because, we're not going to make it anywhere with that type of attitude. But I totally get it for what you guys are going through right now. So trust me, there's no judgment here. If you haven't watched my readings before, my husband's a Leo, so I love Leos. I have a lot of Leo friends, so yeah. So looky there. It's clarified by the Eight of Cups. Yet again, in the reverse position. Whew. Maybe some of you don't want to believe that things can get better. And I know that, some of you have been really going through it, and sometimes that's all you can see is, the darkness. But I'm telling you, the light is there. If you can't trust yourself, try to trust me. It is there. You're going to get there. You will. This will pass. But this is definitely a period where we need to eliminate certain people and certain situations out of our life. Some situations have just literally ran their course. There's nothing left for us, and we don't need to hang on to these situations. And that could be really, really hard, especially if you've, put your heart, soul, blood, tears into something and to actually have to walk away from it. Yeah, that can make you pretty mad, pretty pessimistic, I totally get it. I just don't want you guys to get stuck in that frame of mind, You're Leo, for crying out loud. Come on, we have got to be optimistic. Pull it together. It's going to get better. Trust and believe. Things are going to get better because they will. I know I keep beating on that, but it's so true. I mean, okay, so this is how other people see you, and to me, this is absolutely dead on because this is exactly how I'm looking at you guys. Like, yo, you guys have been through a lot of lessons in life, and you're learning them. And it's like, hey, whatever you want can be yours here. If you desire to, start a new career, it's possible. If you just want to change residences, it's possible. This is kind of like a job well done for going through it. and for learning the lessons that are all attached to everything that we went through. You know, so this is kind of a bit of a reward here, you know, karmic rewards, but it's a job well done, essentially. And so what do you desire the most? What do you want? You know, that is the question. And like I said, this is exactly how I'm looking at you guys, because you guys have been through it, and you literally could take the world by storm with the amazing energy that you guys have. It's just, right now, it's so dampened by the pessimism, and some of you are even depressed from going through all of this. And I can't be having my lions out here all depressed, you know. This doesn't work for me. You guys got to find that optimism. You got to do it. And bam, here we go. Queen of Wands. This is definitely how I'm looking at you guys. See, the Queen of Wands, I always associate her as a Leo. I don't care what anybody else says. You know, I tend to associate her as a Leo. She has a very, very commanding, like, dominant presence. So, like, you know, she could walk into a room, and whether she wants the attention or not, it just comes to her naturally. Now, this queen is very intuitive. She is very, very confident, okay? And that is an issue. Is I feel that a lot of you guys have lost some of that confidence, and that's why it's kind of been replaced with pessimism. And yo, I'm a Virgo. Pessimism belongs to me, okay? So let me snatch that back from Leo. And y'all get it together, okay? Y'all need to be optimistic and confident, okay? So, Queen of Wands, again, very, very confident. But the Queen of Wands, she can literally manifest and create what she wants. So if she wants a new job, she literally sets that intention out into the universe. And then boom, a new path opens before her that leads her exactly to that, okay? Now it's a bit more technical, you know, in real day-to-day life here, but manifestation truly, truly does work, okay? But we have to believe, and we have to be in alignment with what we are manifesting and creating for ourselves. And so with these two combined, this to me is saying, hey, you can have whatever you want, because you got that ability to manifest. But you have got to get out of your own way right now. Because, you know, some of you are in your own way. Not all of you, okay? But some of you are just getting in your own way. And, like I said, I'm not judging. I totally understand. I do. More than you even realize. But we can't stay stuck in that pessimism and lacking confidence and lacking belief in ourselves, in our abilities, in our skills. You know? You got to believe in yourself. Because you can make what you want happen. And if you continue to think along those lines, then you can become that as well. And you don't want to be that, okay? You don't want to be that. This is what you want. Well, I mean, if some of you want to be that, you know, that's your right. Free will. We all got free will. So, I'm just saying, I would highly encourage to pick this pair. Like I said, this is how other people see you, and this is exactly how I'm looking at you guys. Absolutely. Because you guys, you got that that magic, that ability. I mean, all of us can manifest, but the more confident you are, the easier that it just comes to you, you know? And like I said, though, you have to be in alignment with what you're creating and manifesting. So say you want a new job. You can't be sitting there saying, okay, universe, I want a new job, you know? And then all of a sudden, 20 minutes later, you're focusing on, I don't have this, I don't have that, I'm never going to find a job. See, that right there, you're not in alignment with what you're creating, okay? That's the pessimism and fear stepping in. And you got to take that by the reins, okay? Take control of it. Because you got this. You can do it. Nothing is out of reach for you guys, okay? It's really not. I know it feels that way, but it's really not. How about the word illusions? Trust me, if it hasn't happened already, those illusions, they're going to be exposed real soon. Okay, so this is the hopes and fears position. So we have the 9 of coins. So this is a card of, when it's in the upright position, this is a card of being financially self-sufficient and independent and making good, you know, investments, you know, having that savings. This is also like a card of self-employment. With it being in the reverse, this is, you know, an investment gone bad. This is where money is just simply falling away from us. Perhaps we made some unwise choices in regards to a job, an investment, whatever it may be. This can be about a family struggling in regards to finances. So I feel that, you know, this is definitely more that of a subconscious fear. I think it's a conscious and a subconscious fear that some of you are experiencing right now. And here we have the 2 of Swords. So the 2 of Swords is basically saying, hey, you got a decision to make. And the way I'm going to interpret this is, you can either continue to be in this thought pattern of lack, or you can choose to be in the thought pattern of accomplishment, achievement, gratitude. Have an attitude of gratitude. Yes. This is the time where you guys really need to focus on everything that you have, that you need, that you should feel grateful for. You know, I know things are tough, but this is the time that you really need to pay attention to the things in your life that all of us, regardless of our signs, okay, we tend to take things for granted, okay? And they're very small, minor things, but they are taken for granted. You know, do you have a place to sleep tonight? That's a blessing. Do you have something to eat tonight? Because that's a blessing if you do. There are so many people in this world that will not eat tonight. There are people in this world that are starving day after day. And we tend to take these things for granted, you know. Are you healthy? If you are, that is a blessing. You're watching my video. That's a blessing, whether you think so or not. Not everybody has internet access. Some people are living in third world countries. You know, we tend to take these very, very small things for granted. But they are things that we should be very grateful for. And we should be thanking the universe, God, the divine source, whatever you want to say. We should be grateful for these things. And the more that you push your thoughts and you focus upon being grateful for what you have right here, right now, you're going to attract more things to be grateful and thankful for. Okay? I know I'm like almost preaching here, but I love you guys, and I just don't want you guys staying stuck in this energy anymore, because I know that some of you are hanging on to certain things that just don't need to be kept, okay? Some things just need to be let go of, pure and simple. They've run their course, and they have begun to just do nothing but drain you. Physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. We don't need that. You don't need it. You deserve so much better, Leo. And you need to realize you deserve better. Okay, so the final outcome, boom, strength, okay? You really need to rely on that inner strength. You need to have faith. You need to trust that things are going to work out. That everything will be for the best, because they are. Like I said, this is actually a cup of divine relief. You know, so everything you're going through, it's happening for a reason. Even though you cannot see the full scope of things, it's leading you to somewhere that is so much better. And the more that you try to resist against it, then the longer you stay in this energy. So, yeah, I would be snapping out of it quickly. So, be strong. Fall back on that inner strength that you guys have. Some of you may feel like you're not strong, but you're stronger than you give yourself credit for, okay? You can make it through this. And you will make it through this. Okay, so it is clarified by the Four of Cups. So this is a card of feeling discontent, feeling dissatisfied, you know, with life or in general. This can be a card where we kind of withdraw a little bit and we're reevaluating our life. We're reflecting on things. You know, you see this cup. He's looking at it. He's like, this is a full cup of wine, I think. You know, he's got 3 cups down here that are empty, you know. But he's looking up at that cup like, should I take it? But look at the body language. He doesn't trust. Because he's already been put through so much. He's already dealt with so many things. And he just doesn't know if he should really trust it. Now, the cup is representative of an opportunity, which an opportunity can come your way. But the thing is are you going to be stuck, self-reflecting, and not paying attention because you're too focused on the self? Or are you going to take that chance? Because granted, the opportunity, this could be a wonderful opportunity. This could be a wonderful cup of delicious wine that's, you know, a beautiful opportunity. Or it could be a cup of bullshit. But excuse my French, but, you know, the only way you're going to know is if you go for it. But you got to be looking for the opportunity. Because if you just kind of pull yourself back and become a hermit and don't put yourself out there, you're going to miss it. And interesting enough, this is the Moon in Cancer card, which is why I figured I should discuss these eclipses with you guys, seeing that, because I feel that these eclipses are definitely hitting some of you. And this is definitely feeding into your situations. So it's going to get better, though. Okay, yeah, I'm trying to pull the lead out of my hiney and hurry up here. Okay, so we have the King of Swords here. So the King of Swords, he is very logical, okay? He's very analytical. He's a very keen observer of people. He's got a very good memory. But he's very, very analytical. He's like one of those people that, you know, he will be in the background and he will just be watching and observing. Because, hey, you can learn a lot by observing. Sometimes you can learn more by stepping back and observing others rather than being in the mix. Now, the King of Swords, you know, sometimes this can actually be somebody who works within the court system. This could be a judge. This could be a lawyer. Sometimes this can indicate that this could even be a prosecutor. Sometimes this could be a like a counselor. Yeah, so some of you could potentially, you know, reach out to get advice from somebody like this. You know, some of you could just reach out to an advisor to just get some advice in general, which is definitely, I would recommend it, especially in regards to opportunities or investments. It would be very, very wise to get some, you know, advice from a non-biased person, someone who will give you the whole truth and nothing but. Okay? And see, the King of Swords, he is very fair and honorable when it comes to making his decisions. You know, he's very, very fair. You know, he takes everything into consideration before he makes his choice. So this is a very good person to get advice from. Some of you could actually be dealing with someone like this that you may get advice from, or some of you might even take some of this energy on as, you know, for you. You might channel this king. And looky here. 7 of Coins. The 7 of Coins here. So there's definitely some sort of project, investment of some sort that is definitely on the table, and it needs to be looked at further. So definitely do not be afraid to reach out and get some advice in regards to, should I do this project? Should I invest in this? Is this a good way to go career-wise? You know, is this a job I should, you know, whatever this represents for you, don't be afraid to get some advice from somebody who will be a straight shooter and very, very fair and honorable. It doesn't hurt to get advice. Okay. Love Oracle cards for the single Leo, Sun, Moon, and Rising signs. Release your ex. The time has come to clear your energy. So yeah, those of you who are single, perhaps maybe, especially if you're trying to find another relationship, maybe you might be having difficulties attracting another woman because you're still kind of stuck on your ex. And it's almost like they're still in your aura, and other people can subconsciously pick up on that. So this is where you should probably deal with that situation, do what you got to do to find closure, so that ultimately you can clear your energy of that ex. And then that will put you in alignment to attract someone to you, okay? Finances and career. Financial issues are a factor in your love life right now. Well, yeah, I don't think we need to elaborate on that any further. And true love. This is the romance of a lifetime. So Yeah, this is definitely indicating for some of you that are single that someone most definitely is coming in, and they could potentially be true love, you know, so hey, hey. Okay, so these are for the Leos, Sun, Moon, and Rising signs that are married or in committed relationships. So the first one is engagement. Your love life is ascending to a higher level of commitment. So especially for those of you who are like in newer relationships, maybe you've been wondering, like, I wonder if one day we'll ever get married or if it'll ever go to that level, you know. Well, then this would be a card of saying, yes, you will. But, you know, don't expect this to happen in a month's time, okay? Let's be clear about that. It happens over, you know, time. For some of you, it could be a few months. For some of you, it might be a year or a few years. Oh, soulmate. Yes, this is your soulmate. So, yeah, some of you are already with your soulmate. And trust me, a real soulmate, they're going to be with you. They're going to be ride or die. No matter what you're going through, no matter how broke you are, how rich you are, they're going to be with you regardless. Oh, here we go. Love yourself first. Your self-respect makes you more romantically attractive. And yeah, this could be an issue for some of you. I mean, we really got to love ourselves first, because if we don't love ourselves first, then we can't love another person the proper right way, so to speak, because you have to have that self-love. I'm not saying that vain, conceited self-love. We have to love ourselves. We have to value ourselves, you know? We have to respect ourselves. That type of love. Oh, and passion. Allow your heart and soul to sing with joy. So yeah, this is definitely a card about finding your passion. For some of you, this could be finding your passion with someone that you're with. You know, but passion can be in so many different aspects, not just relationships. For some of you, this could be about finding your passion within the financial realm again, and perhaps maybe this might make your relationship or your marriage better once you find your passion again. Okay, so time for positive affirmations, okay? So, coincidentally enough, look at this. The first one is 8 of Water, which is the same as the 8 of Cups, which came out twice. So, I'm going to say it absolutely means something here. Journey of discovery, letting go, and seeking a deeper meaning and greater authenticity beyond superficiality. All that glitters isn't gold, and I know that I always deserve authentic riches. The gold that fills me with joy, abundance, and understanding. I fearlessly pause to re-examine where I have been and where I am and where I might go. Now I consciously choose the path that is right for me instead of the one that seems likely to draw me onto it or the one I feel I ought to walk. I am true to my heart. I've come as far as I can, and I leave by the wayside the last of the illusions, the last bits of fear and shame, and I will no longer hold on to what isn't right for me. Hello, that resonates perfectly with what I was talking about. We're not going to go back because Lord knows I have went on and on. Okay, so the second, Magician. Magician, alchemy. When I am in alignment with Spirit's will, miracles are possible. When I see this card, I'm reminded that my will and skill alone will yield limited results. When I remember my partnership with Spirit, all is well. I'm required to explore my commitment to this co-creative alchemical relationship and see the results manifest beautifully. Through me, Spirit works magic. That's beautiful. And basically that's, believe, have faith. And when you have faith, you'll see that magic. You'll see those miracles happen. 9 of Water. Dreams come true. Wishes fulfilled. Completion, enjoyment, contentment, and achievement of desire. It is right to say no to what isn't right for me. And now is my time to experience wishes fulfilled. The sweet harvest that came about from seeds I planted. I drink in the aroma of successful endeavor, take pride in my hard work and achievement, and savor the satisfaction of a job well done. I deserve to pause and acknowledge all I co-created, and I do it joyfully. That's beautiful. And 6 of Earth. Unexpected resources, happy surprises, and generosity. What I have sent forth in love comes back to me many times over. As the generosity of others becomes apparent and unexpected resources shows up. The universe is exhibiting its generosity, reminding me that the world is full of pleasant surprises. Inside the pretty package is tangible aid, a gift from Spirit. Just when I was beginning to doubt, I am reminded of the treasures I am entitled to receive that show up at my door. What will I unwrap today? Tell me that is not beautiful, and tell me that is not a reason to have faith and to believe because things are going to get better. I mean, wow. That is beautiful.